But one thing I'm going to start elaborating on is this wheat from tares, this separation um, between the Most High's children and the seeds of Satan, because it's deeper than what I really thought. I really was feeling like, there was something more to satellites. I knew there was something more than cell phones. I knew there was something more than heat wave detectors and just I knew there was something grander. I knew there was something more to the whole you know gang stalking phenomenon, the spiritual trial. I knew there was, because I told you guys a long time ago, and the video that I was just making kind of backs up what I'm saying now. I've been on social media and I can tell when somebody's looking at me. You know when somebody's looking at you, bro. It's one of the most weirdest things in the world. And a lot of times, if you are truly of the Most High, you'll see them mocking you. You'll see them put out the tongue, and they'll stick the tongue out, and the with the googly eyes. If it's not them physically, it's an emoji. You'll see them put up the devil horn. You'll see them put up the OK sign. It gets deep. Standing on a square, color coding, to the point of where the women have maybe their hair front and back. They have one shoulder up, one shoulder be showed. Like I said, if you're not aware of the symbols of the enemy, you're already behind, because that's one of the first things I study. And a lot of them are just Masonic symbolism. It's gang culture. A lot of the symbolisms that Masons use is just regurgitated and used in different formats and mixed up with gang culture. It's also mixed up in music. It's also mixed up in entertainment. It's mixed up in sports. It's mixed up with people promoting items on social media. So you can just go ahead and say it's the world. Because, if you are a true individual of the Most High, you can remember and you can go look at your pictures. Are you putting up the one eye in your picture? Intentionally. And you know when it's intentional. Are you putting up the OK sign? And we're not talking about before we came to the knowledge. I'm talking about now. Are you putting your hands in a rock and roll sign? You putting the hidden hand? You have your hand over the chest? Are you putting your hand in a diamond? The Madra? The Monokunos? Do you worship the Mother Goddess? The Baphomet? Because these are all symbols that are a tribute to the Mother Goddess, which is just Satan. All of it goes back to Satan. But these guys are lunatics. So what they'll do is they'll create Jesus, which is the criminal version of the Messiah. They have their image through Catholicism of Jesus. They got the Mother Mary. They have Confucius. They have Buddha. You have your agnostics. You have your atheists, and so on and so forth. Your Jehovah Witness. And like I said, man, all of these people that I've just named, you can find people who are in these faiths putting up these symbolisms. So you got to ask yourself, why, if I can attribute this symbol that you're making, and if I can look at over 5 pictures within the last 30 days, and you making the same symbol, it's a pattern. Why are you making the same symbol that Aleister Crowley is making? Aleister Crowley professed Satan. We know what he studied and what he was about. So my question is, why are others who profess Jesus, which we know that's Caesar Borgia, we know that's why they do double talk. See, a lot of these, they talk double talk, and you don't know unless you know. And so they'll be saying Jesus, and if you're blind, you'll be thinking they're talking about the Messiah. They're talking about Caesar Borgia. They're talking about the Antichrist. They're talking about that white man. And while I'm on this subject, you can tell that the 2/3 are of the seed of Satan, because there's no way in the world, man. A good brother brought this up in one of his podcasts, and he was like, man, there's no way in the world so-called black people, right, would look at all these other nations right? And we know that nation doesn't mean race, but right, we know race, nation, ethnicity, totally different things. But why are so-called black people the only ones that just can't, they don't come up with their own God? You know what I mean? They don't worship the Messiah in his blackness. They black excellence. They got black excellence, black love. You see all these black promoting black self-love and all of this bullshit with these so-called black people. Don't you think that the main thing that they would be trying to promote is the Messiah? Because he definitely was black his time on earth. I know that most of his children are so-called black. So you would make it seem like to me it would be like if everybody is so positive, you would support those who the Most High has breathed on. But it shows you what side they're on because of how they react towards the truth. So it's no need of being confused when you see so-called black people out here and they're around you. They're demons. Like the brother said, we are rare. We are, like the Bible says, peculiar people. And you really just don't know how peculiar you are until the Most High opens your eyes. Because you're really fighting human versus demon. These are literally demons in the flesh. And you hear these terminologies growing up, and you'll just chuck them off as sayings, as phrases. Well, phrases have meanings, and now we're seeing that demon in the flesh is real. And there's other phrases that I can't think of right now, but they go hand in hand. But one thing I wanted to, I want you guys to focus on, right, as I end this clip, focused on thinking about the goodness of the Most High, focused on thinking about the power you have in the Most High, focus on thinking about you being chosen and set apart. Focused on, I wouldn't say focus on, but accept and acknowledge the fact that these people are not human. And when you do these things, watch the reactions that you have around you. Listen to the things that happen and transpire around you. Because one thing I've noticed, right, it's odd. It's like when I am onto something, if I'm onto information, and I can tell that it's true by the reaction of the demons around me, it's like all of a sudden they need fresh air or they are leaving. You understand? I'm telling you guys, when I stumble upon knowledge that exposes them, yes, I'll get the heightened noise, but it's kind of after. It's kind of like every level that I increase in knowledge is like that day or that hour, that time space is like, it's like unfathomable for them. You know what I mean? Like they're like shitting themselves. Excuse my language. That's what it seems like, because I'm telling you, it may be, it's like a silence. You still have the noise campaign, but it's like a silence that's kind of like an old shit he's figuring out. Like when I was, reading and confirming about the human versus the demons, I'm telling you, like, I had a whole day where it was about 10% gang stalking. You know what I mean? Like 90% of the day, I was just, studying and reading. I was like, read like up to 6 chapters of Ecclesiastes. I was just reading. And it was kind of like, it wasn't a typical day. And what I understood was, or what I was discerning was, it was them recognizing my, me realizing. And see, one thing they also do is, right, that's why social media is dangerous if you're a target and you're not aware of who these people are. Because what I notice is when I learn information that exposes these fucks, I'll get on Instagram, and maybe it's people that I'll follow or people that I peep or whatever that I see on my feed constantly. You'll look at their pages and they'll have quotes and their captions, or a little bit posts, right? And they're about what you're about maybe what you're experiencing at that time. And like I say, like you should be wary of that. Guys should know that if you are a child of the Most High, there's no coincidence, because everyone's eyes on you. So when I see that now, I'm just like, okay, I block these people. I'm like, oh, okay, you're trying to deceive. You're trying to implant thoughts of doubt. You know what I mean? Of the information that it clearly exposes you. And that's another thing. You can really find your enemies will expose themselves by what they're willing or not willing to talk about or indulge in. You understand? So, like I said, this is a mind game. And like I said, your enemies are not going to come out and say, yes, we're demons. You know? And like my brother was saying, man, you once you come to this realization, it's nothing but peace that surpasses understanding. And now I understand what the Most High means as to why we're able to survive. I mean, come on now, bro. You come to the realization that your whole family is demons, that you're really like a human and everyone's not, and they're really like after you. Who, you know, he said, you know, that would put anybody in a psych ward. You know, no cap. You come into the realization of what the fuck we're going through. Come on, guys. So be blessed, be strong. Much love. Shalom.